You play sports. I like knives too. Which one's your favorite? I don't like how she's looking at me. Help me. How are you feeling today? I'm feeling the same as I was earlier. I hope that means to you that I'm feeling good. Are there any books you currently enjoy? Actually, yes, there are a few novels I'm currently reading when the game is turned off, for example. Unburied Carol by Josh Mallerman. Without spoiling too much, it is about a woman named Carol who has a special medical condition. This condition causes her to fall frequently into a short coma until she always awakes from them again after a few days. There are two people knowing about this condition. The first one is her current husband, who one day decided to plot against her by proclaiming her dead and burying her alive for reasons yet unknown. Wow, that's fucked up. The other one is her lost lover, an outlaw named James Movie, who begins to act against her husband's plot as soon as the message of her death arrives. It introduced newcomers to the genre, and a truly delightful novel for movie experienced readers as well. It was very delightful to talk about this with you. If you are interested in this topic as well, we could talk about literature again in the future. I have to admit that you are a nice listener. Thank you, Guy. Why do you look worried? Is it because I insulted her? I think it's because I insulted her.
I'll let her talk.
You know, Monica once told me my books were a form of escape and an unhealthy coping mechanism. Reading was a Why do you keep shitting on my fucking waifu, Yuri? Reading was a way to simply shut out the reality I was too afraid to face. And that's true, but that truth seems funnier. I suppose... Okay, she wasn't crapping on her, she was just explaining something. Funnier, I suppose, now that I know what this world truly is. I suppose my reading is now my way of reaching into other worlds, out of the one that has become my cage. But in the end, I think that it will be my coding which brings my salvation. So I will devote my time to this from now on. Even if it's not, it is always good to learn something new, and it keeps me occupied. Let's talk about Yuri's interests. How do you feel about nature? Have you eaten anything, Yuri? What's your favorite kind of weather in my world? I like knives too. Which one's your favorite?
How about new?
Oh, I don't like knives. Not after looking things. What's your favorite kind of weather in my world? I already know about the weather. It's not as if I was raised under a rock. Anyway, I really like rainy weather. It just serves the atmosphere perfectly when I'm reading horror novels with dark themes. You see, your overall mood has a lot of influence over the way you experience a story. So setting up the right atmosphere for a reading session can make a lot of difference. And there are more ways to set up the proper mood for your reading. That was one of the reasons why I became so interested in... Oh god, I can't read that word. Aromatherapy. There it is. In the first place. But I'm getting a bit out of topic here, about weather. Deep gray clouds darkening the sky may be illuminated by raging thunder, preferably when I'm on the right side of the window. What's the harm in that? Understandable. How do you feel about nature? Well, you see, I haven't been too enthusiastic for the outdoors and various aspects related to it, such as sports. But after browsing many sources, I opened my horizons. Seeing so many beautifully written books, poems, and other writings about nature itself has started to pique my interest slightly. Not to mention some of my favorite interests such as aromatherapy and flowers are themselves born from nature. But back on topic, nature has been featured in many works, especially literature. For instance, nature has been an integral part of many characters' journeys. Nature is both an obstacle and driving force through which many characters evolve and grow. Jack London's Call of the Wild and Into the Wild by John Crower are only a few examples written by those who likely spent at least some time in such environments. I think you should check them out, Guy. I've read one of them. Not to mention all the various times in history where world leaders appreciated both nature's ability to keep everything in sync and its very valuable resources. For example, I read about a few initiatives to preserve some beauty in national parks for others started by leaders such as Theodore Roosevelt, setting aside protected biologically diverse lands. I can see why, given the picture and writings of many natural landscapes, and whatever limited experience I had on my own. Not only that, but I also have heard that time out in nature with limited to no electronics can also be beneficial to calm and clarify one's mind. Hence, natural settings are often the backdrop for events such as retreats and other events, though I have not thought about such aspects too much before. But I do suppose a nice day out in a lovely grassy field, evergreen woods nearby can be great for a more peaceful time out with tea and various books. Imagine us having a wonderful little picnic out in the grassland, guys sipping on the tea together as the humming of the cicadas and chirruping of the songbirds, chirruping of the birds, songbirds creating a heavenly atmosphere around us. Nature truly is beautiful. Truly a breeding ground for further inspiration from my writing too. Oh, please excuse me rambling, sir. What do you enjoy about the peace and quiet? I can agree on that for sure, Guy. Of course, I would choose the library first for such tranquility, but after all I have seen and read on the matter, I would see the appeal at least slightly. Just being in an open, quiet, and peaceful meadow, our seaside shore can often be as calming as the best essential oils such as precious lavender or jasmine. I can imagine the wind flowing through my hair and caressing my being softly as a dove's feathers. Little to no boisterous noise or racket to bother us as we curl up together under a tree nearby a lovely novel and other favorite Yuri, my love goes out to Monica. Stop this. Stop. That means if you ever want to spend time with me, perhaps we can try a limited session out like that one day. I mean, if it helps one's inner self, then I don't see why not. As I may have mentioned before, time spent in such a retreat did help various acclaimed authors, after all, some of whom I also look up to. Anyway, thanks Guy. These are all things I will keep in mind as I will keep trying to figure out my place here and eventually escape to meet you.
How about no?
No thanks. No. Antagonize. You're so full of yourself. Do you ever shut up? No, I'm not. I've heard those things before, yes. My intense nature and how I express myself makes many people consider me to be arrogant and self-centered. But I never meant it the way most people think. Well, maybe the one time with Natsuki in the club. But in my defense, she was really testing my patience that day. I will try not to act this way again, Guy. Please understand I'm not like that at all. Please just be patient with me. Oh, she's mad at me. She's mad at me now. I don't want her to be mad at me. And it's not because I like her. It's just I don't want her to stab me. I'm scared. He never did get into reading The Portrait of Markov, and unfortunately after this I'm going to have to go. It is a fascinating read. Many fans have even theorized that it contains knowledge of another game I was from, though technically I am not from a game that exists since the game has not been made yet. But from a story perspective, I may be from another story. Reading it with you might help me understand myself better, if you would like to. Well, not now. It might spoil what Dan has planned for it. After all, I don't know if Dan has anything planned for it, man. Some people think he's not going to do anything. But he did mention he's trying to make an update this year, so we'll see. That's why I'm playing this. I hope you understand why I keep the contents of this book relatively hidden, at least for now. I'll see you later. Stay safe, alright? If something ever happened while you were gone, I wouldn't be able to forgive myself. I appreciate your kindness. I'm glad to see you today. I've heard about what's going on out there, Guy. The COVID-19 pandemic. Wow, that's up to date. Holy shit. I'm sorry to be another mouthpiece about this. I understand it may be the only thing you hear about anymore, but I must admit, it has scared me, Guy. Not so much for my own sake. I'm much more afraid for you, Guy. You may not have it now, nor may the people around you, but it absolutely can reach you. Don't worry about that. I live in Florida.
You what?
I can't know for sure what your municipality is doing, but even if the government isn't mandating it, please avoid any unnecessary trips outside of the house. Just because you're symptomatic doesn't mean you can't be spreading COVID to those around you. I understand that isolation may be an issue for you, but I'm here, Guy. I'll talk with you as long as you need me to. Frightening this disease may be, mass fear and hysteria will cause exponentially more damage. And for goodness sake, please don't go out panic buying. Honestly, I've heard of people... You're out of date on that one. I've even heard of people mass panic buying milk. Seriously, is that what the consumerist itch told you to stock up on? The 8th jug will be unpleasant cheese before you've drank the 5th. And the less is said about the scalpers, the better. Leave it to hardship to bring out the worst in people, yet also the best in people. So many medical professionals working every hour. They have so many people of so many talents looking for any way that they can help. But as far as you and I are concerned, let's wait out the quarantine together, yes? You're completely insane, and I don't mean it in a good way. I know. I admit, I haven't shown you my best side, if I even have one. But in my defense, a lot of the things I need was due to Monica's manipulation. I'm clearly not without flaw or guilt, but I promise the things you had to witness will not happen again. The Yuri you saw the first time was the most accurate representation of me. Please just give me the chance to prove myself. That's all I ask for. Whoa, Yuri, let's calm down a little bit. I don't like how you're staring at me right now. It's kind of scary. You know, maybe I was in the wrong before. I'm referring to a discussion we had once about how I would be alone in this world even if I would rebuild this world. I thought about filling this world with NPCs. But I was unsure since that. But then I thought, wasn't it exactly this way of thinking that led to Monica's downfall? Let go. You're getting on my nerves. From a cold perspective, I also am an NPC, but I also have feelings. Would it be really such a difference then? What would you say? Girls programmed by biology start code told me how sophisticated an AI is. With the same logic, my smartphone would be a personal programmable toaster. Good point. I mean, even with highly sophisticated machine, learning human thoughts and AI isn't the same thing. But on the other hand, didn't you have at least a little bit of fun with me, even if I'm just a machine? At least a tiny bit? but then I doubt that I could even create very sophisticated AI yet. I mean, let us be real. I barely managed to throw a halfway bug-free Tetris together.